Kwity. He's going straight back. A spraying target is setting up. Goes deep into the right corner, deep downfield. Tucker Ferguson. Touchdown! The Giants have it. Tucker Ferguson deep in the end zone for a touchdown. And the Giants are out in front now, 41-24.
Well, hello. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video. And welcome to the Gridiron. And before I get started, I just want to say thank you so much to everyone out there who's either watched my videos or maybe subscribed to my channel or maybe give my videos a thumbs up or left a comment or anything at all you guys can do to help me out. I greatly appreciate it. I'm just trying to get my channel up and running. Anything you guys can do to help me out, I greatly appreciate it. So thank you so much. All right, now we got the top 10 list continues. This time we're going over the New York Giants top 10 quarterbacks of all time. That is a list. It's just, you know, it's from Fansided. I'll leave a link in the description box. You can check it out if you like. You know, and they got the top 10. You know what? You know, it's subjective, but I mean, for the most part, I mean, it's hard to really argue with much of this. I mean, a couple of these guys, you know, could be on here. A couple of guys, you know, maybe it's hard to really think of many other guys that could possibly be on this list. But here we go. All right, number 10. All right, we're going back a little while here. All right, we got Jack McBride. All right, he was on the original team in 1925. He was with the Giants from 1925 to 1928. Then he came back and he played from 1932 to 1934. So he was on the Giants for 7 years. All right, and he was part of the first two Giants championships. 1927, he was on that team. When there wasn't a championship game, they finished with the best record and they won the championship. And then he was part of the 1934 team, which beat the Chicago Bears in the sneakers game. They beat them 30-13. He scored in 7 years with the Giants. I mean, it is what it is. In 7 years, he scored like rushing touchdowns, like 15. He was rushing, I mean, any type of touchdowns. He scored 15 total. His passing, all right, that's why, you know, he was a quarterback, right? He played 67 games throughout his career with the Giants. He completed 50 out of 101 passes for 538 yards and 25 touchdowns. All right, now listen, he completed 50 passes for 25 touchdowns. So 24.8% of his passes went for basically one out of every 4 passes he threw went for a touchdown. He also had 11 interceptions. But, you know, that's pretty impressive indeed. I mean, there wasn't a lot of passing that went on. A lot of it was running. You know, so obviously the numbers aren't as gaudy as they are, you know, nowadays. But he was like the original New York Football Giants quarterback. Basically, from 1925 to 1939, it was pretty much like 3 guys. Right? We're going to go over all of them here, but Jack McBride was the first one in 1925. Okay. Then we get number 9 on the list. All right, we got the Hoss, Jeff Hostetler. He wasn't too fond of Bill Parcells. I don't know if he was the one who said something like I don't think he ever learned anything at all from Bill Parcells. He was contemplating retiring, you know, because he was with the Giants from 84 to 92, and, you know, from like 84 to 89, I mean, he was like, you didn't even know he was even on the team. Finally, he got his chance after Phil Simms got hurt in 1990 against the Bills. So Jeff Hostetler, you know, it was now or never. He came in, we lost the game against the Bills, but we won the last 2 games of the season. All right, we beat Phoenix, Phoenix Cardinals, 24-21. Then we beat the New England Patriots 13-10 to finish the season. Then we went into the playoffs. All right, we beat the Bears at home 31-3. Then in an unbelievable championship game against the 49ers, we beat them 15-13. Then of course we beat the Bills in the Super Bowl 20-19. And then his 7 years with the Giants, he had 57.8% completion percentage. He only threw 20 touchdowns, right, and he had 12 interceptions. But even as little as he's got used, he still is a two-time Super Bowl champion. One thing he gave us that Phil Simms didn't was that, now Phil Simms was a better thrower. Jeff Hostetler, ran, and there was so many times when he came. I mean, it's just amazing when you got somebody like Phil Simms who's kind of like a statue, and you see him throw the ball. If there's nothing open, he gets sacked. And nothing open, he gets sacked. If he throws the ball, he gets sacked. That's all Phil Simms. A lot did. With Jeff Hostetler, there's nothing open. He might take off. And it's so demoralizing against the defense. You get third down and whatever, 6, 7, 8, or whatever. You cover all the wide receivers. You get some pressure on the quarterback. Jeff Hostetler ducks out of it and runs and gets the first down, and the drive stays on. That's what Jeff Hostetler gave us, and it was like a kind of a breath of fresh air. Finally see him on the field. I said he wasn't maybe as good of a thrower as Phil Simms, but man, when he took off, he got some yards. He usually extended drive, and it was huge. And I don't know, to be honest with you, if Phil Simms could have led us to the Super Bowl that year. I don't know. I think, especially against the 49ers, Phil Simms, we went on Monday night in 1990. We played the 49ers. We lost 7-3 with Phil Simms as the quarterback. We went back to the 49ers in the NFC Championship game with Jeff Hostetler as the quarterback. We didn't score a touchdown, but we did kick 5 field goals. So I don't know if Phil Simms could have directed us to the Super Bowl and gave us a victory by beating the 49ers and beating the Bills. Because when he came out, we lost the game that he got hurt in against the Bills. All right, he started that one, and we wound up losing that one. He also played the 49ers, and we played the Bills at home. We lost home. All right, so Hostetler went. We played in the Super Bowl. We beat the Bills. We went on the road again in San Francisco. We wound up beating them. So I don't know if Phil Simms could have done it for us. So possibly if it wasn't for Jeff Hostetler, maybe we don't win our second Super Bowl. So we owe that man a big, great debt of gratitude. Now Jeff Hostetler's number 9. Number 8 is Kerry Collins, one of the greatest pickups we ever got. I'll tell you, from 1999 to 2000, he was only here for 5 seasons. He left after 2003, but that's when we got Eli and Kurt Warner. In the 2004 season. So, and Kerry was instrumental in our ride to Super Bowl 35 in the 2000 season. I mean, he had a great season. Of course, it didn't end so well, but he was a very good quarterback for us. He threw for 16,875 yards in those 5 years for the Giants, and he threw for 81 touchdowns. All right, and I said he left after the 2003 season, and for Eli and Kurt Warner, but when he was with us, he did a phenomenal job. He came from Carolina, but so we owe him a lot too. I mean, the 5 years he was with us, he did really, really good. All right, number 7. All right, this is number 7 and number 6. These are the other guys that are going back in the day. All right, number 7 is Eddie Danowski. All right, he was with the Giants from 1934 to 1941. Toward the end, the last year, he really didn't play much, but he was part of 4 championship teams, not championship, shall we say, games. 1, 2, we lost 2. Right? He beat the Bears in 34, 30-13. Then we beat the Packers in 1938, 23-17. But we also lost to the Lions in 1935, 26-7, and we lost 1939 to the Packers, 27-0. Got whitewashed there, but he did good. He went to 4 championship games, right? And he finished his career with the Giants 309 completions out of 637 pass attempts. He had 3,817 passing yards and 37 touchdowns. So he was like the third quarterback. All right, Jack McBride was the first one. Then we're going to go quarterback number 6 is Benny Friedman. He was the second quarterback. And then Eddie Danowski, he was the third quarterback. So those are the three quarterbacks: Jack McBride, then Benny Friedman, then Ed Danowski. So Ben Friedman here is quarterback number 6 on this list. He's in the Hall of Fame. Okay. In 19, he was 4 years in a row. He was on the team, okay, that scored the most points in the league, had the most passing yards in the league, and had the most passing touchdowns in the league. All right, 4 years in a row. 1927, he was with the Cleveland Bulldogs. 1928, he was with the Detroit Wolverines. And in 1929 and 1930, okay, he was with the Giants. 4 years in a row, he led the league in passing yards, touchdowns, and the team he was on, all right, scored the most points in the league. He's also the only person in NFL history to lead the league in rushing touchdowns and passing touchdowns in the same season. All right, so a little bit of history for you there. And he said he's in the Hall of Fame. Now, what it was is 1927, he was with the Cleveland Bulldogs, and they got a lot of points through the ball, scored a lot of touchdowns. In 1928, he went to the Detroit Wolverines. Same thing there. They got a lot of points. They led the league in points, led the league in passing touchdown, passing yards, and all. So Tim Mara, the owner, because the Giants' offense was kind of struggling, that he went to the Detroit Wolverines and he was trying to get Benny Friedman from them, and they're like, sorry, pal, ain't happening. He's pretty much our whole team. So what Tim Mara did was he went out and he bought the team. He bought the Detroit Wolverines, and he merged the two together. And basically, it was just to get Benny Friedman. As I said, I don't know how many other players from the Detroit Wolverines managed to be merging. I guess I could figure that out one day, but managed to merge with the Giants. But Benny Friedman was the prize possession there of the deal. Okay, so that's why he went out and he bought the Detroit Wolverines. And for the next 2 years, we didn't win a championship with Benny Friedman, but we scored the most points in the league. We had the most passing yards in the league. We had the most passing touchdowns in the league because of Benny Friedman. So he's number 6 on this list here. Okay, so that kind of rounds out the 1925 to the 1939 guys. All right. Now we go into the top 5. All right. Number 5 is Fran the Man Tarkenton, my favorite number 10 of all time, and just because he was the quarterback that was on quarterback in the Giants when I first started watching football. He was with the Giants from 1967 to 1971. For the Giants, he had 13,905 yards passing, and he had 103 touchdown passes in the 5 years he was with the Giants. He's in the Hall of Fame. All right. He played, on some bad teams, and he made the Giants a decent team. I mean, we had from 1964 to 1980, there was 2 winning seasons we had. 1970 and 1972. Okay, so Fran Tarkenton was the quarterback for the 1970 team. All right. His last season with the Giants, we were 4-10. We were pretty bad. So he came from the Vikings, and we had a trade with the Vikings to get him. Then we traded him back to the Vikings. Okay, and we got some players, and we got a draft pick as well too. One draft pick we got from the Vikings wound up being in 1973. We drafted one of the best linebackers the Giants have ever had, was Brad Van Pelt, number 10. So went from Fran Tarkenton, number 10. He went to the Vikings, and we drafted Brad Van Pelt. He came in, and he was number 10, a linebacker. So back-to-back number 10s. But Fran, the man, he'll always have a special place in my heart, as I said, because the first time I ever remember watching football on TV with the Giants on TV was 1970, and he was the quarterback. So he always has a special place in my heart for me. So Fran, the Man Tarkenton, number 5 on this list. Then we go number 4, YA2. He came from the Giants in 1961 to 1964. He was only here for 4 years. But I can't say there were 4 magical years. The first 3 years were very magical. The 4th one was absolutely horrible. The Giants were very, very bad. And after 64, he wound up retiring. But from 1948 to 1960, he was with the Baltimore Colts and the San Francisco 49ers. Right? So we managed to get him from 61 to 64. 1963, he was the league MVP. In 1962, he has the record. He tied, with other quarterbacks, but 7 touchdown passes in one game. It was on October 28, 1962. He threw 7 touchdown passes against the Redskins at Yankee Stadium. The Giants won 49-34 that day. So he set the record in 1962 for the amount of touchdown passes in the season. He had 33. The next year he came back and he threw 36 touchdown passes. So he broke his own record. So the first 3 years he was with the Giants were very, very magical. We went to 3 straight championship games. 61, we lost 37-0 to Green Bay. 1962, we lost, it was 16-7 at Yankee Stadium to Green Bay. And many people seem to think that 1962 Green Bay Packer team was like maybe the greatest team of all time. And then we lost 14-10 at Chicago, Wrigley Field, in the 1963 championship game. We lost 14-10. So that was a close game. But we owe him a lot. He was at the end of his career, but boy, I'll tell you what, the offense he was able to put up, helped get us to those 3 championship games, and we owe him a heck of a lot as well too. So he's number 4. Number 3, we go to Charlie Connolly, the original Marlboro Man. He was with the Giants from 1948 to 1961. He was on a 1956 NFL championship team. He played in 4 championship games. 1956 we won. 1958, 1959, and 1961 we lost them all. He finished his career with the Giants 19,488 passing yards. He had 173 touchdown passes, which was absolutely phenomenal back then. He held like all the Giant records when he retired in 1961. Sadly for him, his last game he ever played was 1961, was the championship game against the Packers in Green Bay, and we wound up getting killed 37-0. That was Vince Lombardi's first championship ever with the Green Bay Packers. It was 1961. So Charlie Connolly, the original Marlboro Man, is number 3 on this list. Number 2, got Phil Simms. All right, came in 1979 and retired in 1993. All right, he was obviously the 1986 Super Bowl champion. He was also, he got a rank for the 1990 season as well too. But he was the Super Bowl MVP in 1986. The Super Bowl. He went 22 out of 25 for 269 yards and 3 touchdowns. Wow, what a completion percentage he had in that game. Now, early on in his career, he had, I a lot of times I even forgot we even drafted him. Because, there was like, so many times it'd be like Scott Bruner would be in there. In his rookie season, 1979, he missed 4 games. 1980, he missed 3 games. 1981, he missed 6 games. 1982, he missed the whole season because of a knee. 1983, he missed 14 games. So, it wasn't until 1984 that he finally started getting healthy, staying healthy, and wound up being the Giants quarterback. Now, from 1984 to 1990, all right, and he only missed 7 games. All right, so he was able to stay relatively healthy. Now, of course, a couple of those games he did miss, then during the regular season was in the 1990 season when he got hurt by the Bills, But, regardless, we lost to the Bills, but even when we lost after we lost, we were still 11-3. We were 10-0 at one point that season. So Phil Simms directed us to a 10-0 start that season. So that was huge. And then, of course, we lost to the frickin' Eagles. I think it was like 31-13. So that made us 10-1. But anyway, Phil Simms directed us, to a 10-0 start, And, so he's got 2 Super Bowl rings. Once again for him, this is the way it goes with, a lot of guys when they retire. His last game was, him and Lawrence Taylor's last game together was on January 15th, 1994, when we lost 44-3 to the San Francisco 49ers. I think Ricky Watters had like 5 rushing touchdowns against us in that game. It was unbelievable. What an embarrassment. So we lost 44-3. That was Phil Simms and Lawrence Taylor's last game. But Phil Simms, true champion. And of course, number one, who else would it be but Eli? You know, certainly deserves to be on here. He probably holds, I mean, pretty much every record that the passing record that the Giants have. He also helped take us to 2 magical runs to the Super Bowl. You know, we weren't playoff bound every year. You know, we weren't the best team. We weren't this. We weren't that. But if you just look back. You know, and it's like, you know, would you rather be? You know, I mean, like, over the course of time, I mean, like the Cowboys had some very nice teams and all, but did they win anything? Nope. I mean, you know, the Eagles had a lot of, you know, I mean, had a lot of good teams. You know, but they won one. You know, I mean, but some teams just seem like every year they're good. You know, but they never win anything. I mean, the Giants, we had some bad seasons, obviously, especially, you know, with Eli there. But we had those 2 magical runs, and for that we'll always owe him a debt of gratitude. I mean, nobody gave us a chance at all in any of the playoff games in 2007. Nobody gave us a shot to beat the Buccaneers on the road. Nobody gave us a chance to beat the Cowboys on the road. Nobody gave us a chance in the NFC Championship game to beat the Packers on the road. And nobody gave us a shot at beating the New England Patriots, who were 18-0 at the time in that Super Bowl. I mean, almost nobody, you know. What a magical run that was. Especially, you know, you figure that the 2011, right? I mean, the Giants, they won the one game at home against the Falcons 24-2. Okay? Then they went on the road and they beat the Packers. Then they went on the road and they beat the 49ers. I mean, the 49ers were really good that year. And we beat Aaron Rodgers at Lambeau Field. That was a great game too. But then we beat the Patriots once again. 2 times we beat the Patriots. So I mean, and then this year we're gonna have Eli Manning against the Falcons. I think it's at halftime. He's going to get into the Ring of Honor, the Giants Ring of Honor, and he's going to get his jersey retired. Hopefully, you know, there'll be some debate on this, but hopefully he'll get that call to go to the Hall of Fame. Because I just, you know, the 2 Super Bowl runs we won on, I think that's enough to get him in there, you know. But I mean, we owe so much. I mean, you look back at Eli, and you know, we owe the guy a lot. Now, you know, also, as I said, thanks to him, okay, and you know, others as well. But I think the Giants are the only team in NFL history to beat at least 3 teams who were at least 13-0 at the time when we beat them. We beat the Chicago Bears in the 1934 championship game. The Chicago Bears were 13-0. We beat the Denver Broncos in 1998. The Denver Broncos came to Giant Stadium. We beat them. They were 13-0. And then we beat the New England Patriots in the 2007 Super Bowl, and they were 18-0. So I think the Giants are the only team in NFL history to do that. But Eli Manning, without question, is the greatest quarterback in the history of the New York Football Giants. Well, as always, guys, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video. You guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo!